A major automaker is planning to slash jobs in the GTA, and that has the Prime Minister firing off a warning. Rhianne Campbell is in Oshawa, where General Motors is expected to reduce the number of shifts available for workers.
GM blames the decision on the 25% auto tariffs imposed by U.S. President Donald Trump last month, saying its goal is to reduce exports to the U.S. and to readjust the plant for Canadian sales, starting in the fall. But the union that represents auto workers calls the move short-sighted.
But there's been a lot of, changing positions from the U.S. president. Now is not the time to make long-term decisions that impact Canadian workers when this situation is evolving even as we speak.
It comes following updated guidance from the U.S. on Thursday that Canadian auto parts makers will be spared additional U.S. tariffs originally set to take effect this weekend. Unifor says the Oshawa plant, which employs about 3,000 people, will go from 3 shifts to 2, laying off 700 people and affecting the jobs of about 1,500 others.
I think GM rightly sees the demand for the Silverado in the U.S. and potentially in Canada as well is going to be a little bit lower over the course of the next year. Certainly over the course of at least the next 6 months.
But Payne says when the going gets tough, corporations can't just cut and run.
We want to be able to carry on with a robust footprint in Canada, and now that footprint has taken a massive slice out of it as a result of this decision in Oshawa and the one from a couple of weeks ago that GM made in terms of its Kami plant in Ingersoll.
MP Anita Anand, minister in Carney's last cabinet, says the government introduced relief for the auto sector so long as manufacturers maintain production levels in Canada. Should that change, there will be repercussions.
All the dollars from our tariffs going to support workers, fighting hard for our auto sector, all our sectors in these negotiations with the Americans, and making sure that companies act in true partnership as well in maintaining employment and investment in Canada. And if not, there will be consequences for those companies.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford weighs in, saying in part his government will continue doing everything to support GM and its workers. But the official opposition is calling for the Premier to deliver a real plan to keep auto jobs in Oshawa and Windsor, after Stellantis confirmed Thursday it'll close its auto assembly plant for a week beginning Monday. Meanwhile, Ontario Greens leader Mike Schreiner calls for targeted provincial investments to support workers in the upcoming May 15th budget. Prime Minister Carney is scheduled to visit the White House on Tuesday for trade and security talks with President Trump. In Oshawa, Rhianne Campbell, City News.